Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the very strange and frankly profound world of Zen master Mazu. Now, this was a teacher whose methods were, let's just say, as bizarre as they were brilliant.
We're talking about a world where a punch can actually be a lesson, where silence can be the most powerful statement you'll ever hear. So we're going to explore the hidden wisdom behind these totally baffling but incredible encounters. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, to really get Mazu, you have to understand the world he was teaching in. See, Zen training back then wasn't some quiet, gentle, book-learning kind of thing. Not at all. In fact, we're told it was a place where a master might just grab a student, or maybe use some pretty harsh words. But all of this apparent chaos, it had a very specific purpose. The whole idea was to shock the student right out of their normal, everyday thinking and force a direct, unfiltered experience of reality. All right, so let's start with a bit of a calmer story to ease in. One night, Mazu takes his 3 top disciples, Seodang, Baizhang, and Namjan, outside to look at the full moon. And he asks them this simple, open-ended question. But their answers, well, they reveal 3 completely different levels of understanding. So Seodang gives this very traditional, by-the-book kind of answer. Baizhang, he gives a practical, Zen-focused answer. But Namjian, he doesn't say a single word. He just experiences the moment, shakes his sleeves, and walks away. And that, Mazu says, was the highest level of understanding, one that just goes way beyond words and concepts. Okay, this next story, this is really the heart of Mazu's entire teaching. It's about a monk named Baizhang Huaihai who traveled a huge distance, we're talking over 3,000 kilometers, just to seek wisdom from the master. So Daozi finally arrives. He's full of expectation, totally ready to be handed some profound secret. But Mazu, he immediately just flips the script on him. Can you imagine? You travel all that way for months just to be told you've been looking in completely the wrong place this whole time. So, completely confused, Dazhu asks the most important question. And Mazu's reply? Well, this is the key to this whole explainer. It's everything. He goes on to explain that everything Dachu is looking for, every truth, every single answer, it's already perfectly and completely within him. There's absolutely no reason to search for it somewhere outside of himself. And just like that, at Mazu's words, Daju has this profound awakening. It clicks. He realizes his own mind was the treasure he was looking for. He actually stayed with Mazu for another 6 years just to deepen that insight. But like I said, Mazu didn't just use clever words. Oh no. Sometimes the situation called for something a little more direct, a physical shock to really break a student's mental habits. So a monk named Fahui comes up and asks this very standard, almost textbook philosophical question. He was probably expecting a very standard philosophical answer. Yeah, he didn't get one. Instead, Mazu leads him through this totally strange sequence of events. So after this whole series of confusing actions, the punch, telling him to come back, then dismissing him, Fahui suddenly gets it. He understands. Mazu wasn't ignoring him. He was literally shattering his expectation that a real answer could ever be found in words. And this dynamic even worked in reverse. One time Mazu broke the rule of silence during a meal, and his disciple Namjeon basically told him to shut up. And Mazu just accepted it. It just goes to show that the truth of the moment was way more important than any master-student hierarchy. So what does this all mean? The crucial point here is that all of these strange stories, the moon, the treasure house, the punch, they are all pointing to the exact same fundamental truth. You see, Mazu's goal was never to give his students the answer. It was to force them, to push them, to find it inside themselves by breaking the very habit of looking for it anywhere else. These stories just brilliantly illustrate that the path to understanding isn't always straight, it's not always logical, it's really about perception, about self-awareness, and about direct, unvarnished experience. And so Mazu's teaching leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. If it's all already in there, what exactly are you looking for? Thanks for joining this explainer.